wasn't sure what kind of video I would make today because I'm not starting a new project or anything like that. So I decided to pull out one of my books and grab some inspiration from it. Cameron went and got this book for me. I received it as a gift, but he went and got it so that I could look through it. And I said, Cameron, here, just flip through and pick one pattern to make. And so we opened it up, and he picked this block. He opened it up and picked this block. This is called the Goose Tracks block, and it's really simple construction, and so we're going to make it today. All we need to do is make a 4-patch, and then we make 4 4-patches, and then we add rectangles, and then it has a center square. So let's go over what I've already cut for it. I cut the pieces out already, and we just have to sew them together. I'm hoping that the finished block is 15.5 inches, but then after it's done, I'm just going to add a border. And oh no, I'm not. I'm not going to add a border. I'm just going to add backing and batting, and then put a binding around it. So let's go over what we'll need to make the block. This block calls for background parts and accent fabrics, so I'm going to use a similar colorway when I create my own block. The pieces that we're going to need are, from the background fabric, you're going to need 4 3.5 by 6.5 inch rectangles. You're also going to need 4 4-inch squares, and 4 3.5 inch squares. From the accent fabrics, and I'm using 2 different accent fabrics, you're going to need 4 4-inch squares and 4 3.5 inch squares. So let's show you how to, oh, there's one thing. For my particular quilt, are you zooming in a little bit? For my particular block, I have a directional fabric in my background. So when I cut the rectangles, I actually cut it so that 2 of the rectangles are going to be vertical, and then 2 of them are horizontal. If that doesn't matter to you, that's fine. But since I chose a directional fabric, I'm making sure that I have what I need. As I put the other squares together, hopefully they're turned in a way that so that it's easy to stay right side up. Now let's start putting this bad boy together. We're going to start first with the half square triangles. I'm taking the 4-inch squares, and I've already taken the background and drawn a line from corner to corner diagonal across the block. Then I stitched on either side of that line 1/4 inch, and then once you cut that in half, you have your half square triangles. I'm going to press these to press the seam allowance toward the dark side, and then I'm going to trim them up to 3.5 inch squares. So I'll do that off camera, and we'll put this block together. The next step is to create the 4 patches here. This is actually the same 4 patch, it's just turned, but the difference is, since I had directional fabric, I wanted to turn it so that the squares were right side up. So I put these background squares in first, and then I added everything around it. In some cases, the half square triangles ended up right side up, but sometimes they didn't, and I'm just not going to worry about it too much. I think it'll be fine. I'm going to stitch these together, and I'm actually going to try to press towards the half square triangle because it's darker than both the other fabrics. So I'll get these 4 patches made, and then we'll go to the next step. Now that the 4 patches are done, we can add our final solid square and the rectangles. So I'm going to go ahead and put the solid square here in the center, spreading this out just a little bit. And then I'm going to put each of the rectangles in as well. So this is a point where I really hope my 1/4 inch seam is okay, but I'm not going to be super stressed about it. It looks like it's a little big, but it'll be all right. And so you notice that I'm putting the, I'm paying attention to the direction of my rectangles here. All right, and so I'm gonna stitch this together as a 9 patch. So I'm going to stitch row, 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 and then put the rows together, and you can see it. The block is complete right here. And because the background is so bright, I decided to add a border to hopefully tame it down a little bit. I'm going to actually use the fabric that we see around here. I'm going to use it for the border, the backing, and the binding. And so I've cut my border and binding strips here, and then I'm going to use this larger piece to do the backing. Right now I'm going to stitch the borders on 2 sides and then top and bottom, and then it'll be ready to quilt. Here is the finished wall hanging. Well, it's not quite finished because it hasn't been backed or quilted yet. I have the borders on. I really like the way that it looks so far. Again, I'm going to use the same border fabric for the batting and the backing, and I'm going to put some little hangers on it as well. So if you'll stay tuned to my channel, I'll show you this project when it's finished. Again, this is called the Goose Tracks block. I think that's what it's called. And I got it from my Block a Day book. Let me see. Let me show the book again. It's called Block a Day, 365 Quilting Squares for Patchwork Inspiration by Lucinda Ganderton. Again, I'll link it. I guess I'll link to Amazon in the comments so that you can check this book out if you're interested. If you have any questions about what you've seen in this video, please leave them in the comments. Thumbs up the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!